5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's time to count down reality TV's most talked about moments with Amanda Bella. Hey everybody, welcome back to Bella Talks TV. This is Amanda Bella. I'm so happy to be back. I know I always say that, but I always feel like there's so much time in between these episodes. We'll get into a little bit about where I've been and what I've been up to. It's been a crazy 2 weeks since I've been with you guys now. I haven't recorded since I did my Mormon Wives episode, which was one of my favorites and is actually getting the most plays and downloads out of like any one of my episodes yet. If you haven't listened to it yet, if you haven't watched Mormon Wives on Hulu, it's 10 out of 10 recommend. I can't talk about it enough. It's so hard when the shows get dropped all at once like that because, you know, you binge so fast. It's such a little moment in time and then it's gone. So I'm trying to hold on to it as much as I can, but I also know that, you know, these things can't last forever and we got to move on because we have other things to talk about. So I have a whole list. I'm back with my notes. Like, remember you guys, like the show is evolving. Like I used to not take any notes. Now I'm starting to be like, okay, I have so many things to talk about. I have to make sure we get on track. And I'm also just trying to streamline it, right? Like every episode I want to get better. Every episode I want it to be like more consistent and make more sense. And I also really want to put a lot of effort into doing like, not like necessarily one take, you know, not to put the pressure on me to be, you know, it's like I'm not a performer who can just memorize lines and like do it in one take. This is more of a stream of consciousness show and a platform for me to just voice my opinions and hopefully have other people listen and agree, disagree, and find ways to connect with the content that I'm putting out there. But I want to make it, you know, the best show I can make it. And one thing I'm trying to work on is just the amount of time it takes me to produce the show. So, you know, I'm a one-woman show over here. I talk about a lot, self-produce here in my home, equipment's all myself. I edit everything myself. I post everything myself. Like, this is just me. So one thing I'm trying to do is like cut down on the time it takes me to record, edit, and get everything out on there so that hopefully I can be doing it more. Because I would love to be getting out even more than one episode a week. And my schedule now finally will be slowing down. Like we made it through, you know, in Game of Thrones, which I don't even know why I'm using this as a reference. I've never seen an episode of Game of Thrones. Again, I think you guys, like, you know, for one of my OG listeners, you might know, like I've talked before about how I have a hard time watching shows that people don't have just like a regular American accent. Like I have to watch with subtitles and like, I just don't really know. It's weird. It's almost like being dyslexic, but only for people that have like accents. Like I have a really hard time understanding other people's accents. And when I watch shows like Game of Thrones, it's just like watching a show in another language without subtitles. Like I have no idea what's going on. So that's not the show for me. But in Game of Thrones, there's a red wedding, and I know about this reference, and I'm, you know, at least I don't live under a rock. And obviously this is a podcast about TV. But September was like my red wedding. Like I just had so much going on. It was back-to-back stuff. You guys know I flew into Detroit the morning of my niece's first birthday. I like went to the party. I went to the Lions opening day game. I flew back to New York. I had things going on here in town, like the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City watch party and stuff like that. And then I went to Florida because I had family. My mom, it was her birthday. My aunt and my cousin that live in North Dakota, random deep cut, shout out North Dakota. If anybody's listening is from there. They came to Florida to celebrate my mom's birthday with me and I was hosting them all week. And then the last day that they were in town, I had to drive from Fort Lauderdale up to Orlando to meet my husband's entire family at Disney World. And I was just there for the last 5 days until the hurricane hit. And then we were in Florida for the hurricane. Everything was fine. Like I didn't even really post that I was there because I didn't want anyone to worry about me because I really wasn't in the path of destruction. And I felt pretty confident that we were going to be okay in Fort Lauderdale. Like that wasn't really, I mean, of course, there was one moment where I looked at my husband and I was like, I mean, these are meteorologists. Like people try to predict these things, but like this could change course at any minute. And like we kind of like live on the water there. Like I was a little scared. So I did have a little bit of moment of panic. Like, okay, if this is my time. But, you know, not to joke about it. It's not funny. I have friends in Asheville that was completely devastated. I have friends in the Tampa, you know, my husband works in the Tampa area actually and commutes up there. So it's like, I know a lot of people affected by this, and I'm just sending well wishes to everybody. If anybody needs help with anything, DM me. I don't know if I can help post or get the word out about anything, or, help get anything out there. But if you need anything, please let me know any way that I can help. So I hope Hurricane Helene, which we'll get into conspiracy theories a little bit today, but one conspiracy theory that I mean, you guys know I'm a TikTok girly now. So I'm really doing my best to be on TikTok, kind of get like the general consensus of what people on there are saying. It gives me a different contrast to compare what people on Instagram are saying. And I'm trying to get back out there. Like you guys know, I never really had a Twitter either. I think I've tweeted like 3 times. I've threaded a little bit in my day. But I can't handle having too many social media platforms going at once. I would need like a team for that. So I'm doing my best out here. But with TikTok, conspiracy theories are inevitable. And there's a lot of them out there, especially with everything going on with Diddy. And we'll get into that. But okay, so I've been on TikTok a lot. And, conspiracy theories are inevitable. And one thing that I saw was that there was actually another Hurricane Helene that landed in the exact same area, Category 4, on the exact same day, September 26th, 1958. And is anyone else starting to feel like we're just like living in a simulation? We're stuck in the Matrix. I don't know if you guys have been seeing all of the NASA confirmations of all of this, extreme rise in the unidentified alien. They call it they don't call them UFOs anymore. It's phenomenon. It's the unidentified aerial phenomena. So there's a lot of that going on. And now there's this moon that's coming in. I just want to say, if this is the last podcast that I put out into the world, we're going to leave it all on the floor today. I have some crazy stories to go over with you guys. I mean, if this is any sign of the end of the world, this is it. My scratchings and my markings just prove what a lunatic I am in my red pen. These are all my conspiracy theories about the state of Bravo reality TV and the end of the world. So let's just get into it. Okay, so obviously this is a show called Bella Talks TV about reality TV's most talked about moments. And, I was just having this conversation with Lucy that I love so much. If you're not following her, go check her out at Cheater Brand on Instagram. I'll put her information in the comments or in the episode description here. I was just chatting with her yesterday and talking to her about, going on about Tamara a little bit. And I also just really, really love and appreciate all of the people that I've connected with online and in real life now that are my Bravo friends, are my reality TV sisters and brothers and in the fight. And you can disagree. We don't always we don't agree on who our favorites are. We don't always see the same side of these fights. Again, we've talked about our own unconscious biases, things that make us think the way we do, reasons why certain things trigger us and they don't trigger others. It's okay. That's what makes the world go round. It's not about, you shouldn't be taking things personally. When I say something about not liking a Bravo lab, if you take it personally, it's just truly that if the shoe fits, and that's a deeper thing. I know that too about myself. I know when I go on my rants, it's really because I'm mirroring that person's doing something that I do that I don't like in myself. So again, don't forget I have a psychology degree, everybody. This is not, your typical reality TV podcast. But okay, so again, let's get into the notes here. I just was kind of trying to figure out where I was going to start with this, but reality mimics reality TV. And when I was talking to Lucy, there's a certain reality TV stars that I feel like live in reality and actually are real people. And when the cameras aren't there, they're just with their families, doing their thing, living a normal life. And then there are a lot of Bravo celebrities and other reality TV stars that even when there isn't a camera following them, it is just constant, main character energy, put it that way. And drama. So it's just, you got to kind of weed through who the real people are that are in this industry and who the people that are on reality TV are just, it's not even, it's where it blurs. I think Stassi, not to bring her up, but she, I think, talked about how she suffered from this, phenomena again, this alien phenomena, that when there weren't cameras following her, she would cause drama. She would be at dinner and just start a fight with her friends, and her friends would be like, what the fuck? you're not on TV right now, Stassi. Like, we're just having dinner. Like, you don't need to be like acting like this. And that kind of made her have this epiphany about like, wow, whew, okay, yeah, I need to really like detach a little bit here. And I think even as consumers, we have this same problem because we are unable, like we feel like these people are real people that we know. We feel like we want to fight for them like they're our own mother, our own brother, our own sister that we're watching on TV. Like, we do not know these people. This is, we got to detach a little bit there. And we can't take things personally, and we can't be out here fighting these battles, like making us sick inside because we care so much, when we should really just be worrying about, our own, what's going on in our own minds, bodies, homes. So that's just my little mental health moment for the day. When I was talking to Lucy about that, I was just like, damn, there really is this distinction between like reality TV and reality. And we have to keep like in this gray area and deciphering and keeping our feet grounded in all of this. And it's really hard because I think we're going through a huge shift, a big paradigm shift. We're talking about the end of the world here. Like, this is the apocalypse of Hollyweird, possibly. And, the veil's being lifted on a lot of these, subcultures within Hollywood, celebrity culture. And this is something that I've cared about and talked about my whole life. Like, I grew up in a house with a mother that watched E! News every night. What was that? Inside Edition, like all those shows. My mom was a hairstylist, and she still is. And I think there was just something about, I'm not sure like where she got the bug. She was one of 7, grew up in a very normal family, like I said, does hair. I'm not sure where she also got her love for pop culture like I have, but I definitely got it from my mom. So I'm not sure if my grandma was like this too. I would have to ask my mom and see before my grandma passed, like, was she also really into celebrity culture and stuff? Did she talk about this stuff and celebrity news? Because it's something that I just grew up giving a fuck about. And it was just always on the TV. We were always watching it. My mom, would always watch these shows, The View, Good Morning America. Like, I was just always seeing random people in pop culture, knowing their stories and kind of like getting the lore from a young child. And so I've grown up caring about all of these celebrities. And it's like, we're talking about our childhood, all of these foundations of entertainment that we were like raised on, that now all of a sudden just everything is changing. Like, it's like, what is real? What wasn't real? Like, I don't know. I'm kind of just ranting and raving a little bit just at the top of the show because I can't really like I don't know. I think I'm going to have to do a bonus episode about Diddy because I have a lot to say. It's not really reality TV related, but so I want to keep my show, I want to keep it on path here. I don't want to get like too off course with the Diddy stuff. But I definitely want to spend some time talking about it and going over with you guys some of the conspiracies and information that I've been able to dig up and find out about this situation. I guess stay tuned for that is what I'm saying. While you're at it, make sure right now, pause the show if you're listening. Go leave me a review, please, and 5 stars. Because I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, you take a 2-week break. And it's real easy to not come back. Like, I'm in Disney World. I'm doing all these things. There's hurricanes. There's aliens. I'm like, who needs Bella Talks TV on Monday? Like, no one cares. But I had to rally myself. I had to like get my imposter syndrome and like shake it out. Like, literally like sage myself and kind of like get my head back in the game, because this, again, I have to remember that like I don't do it for other people. I'm not here for the likes, for the comments, for the numbers, for the views. I'm really not. I'm here for myself. This is like just, it's such good, for me to just sit down with you guys, to get all these thoughts out. And I always thought of this one, like there's this therapy meme or picture or something that I saw once that was like, what is therapy like? And it shows like a ball of yarn in your head all tangled. And then it's like before therapy, after therapy. And then after therapy, the tangle is all like untangled. And it's like a nice, I'm trying to say. And that's how I feel after I do this show. Like, I feel like before I do this show, my brain's up crazy and I'm anxious and I have all these things. And then I do the show and I leave afterwards and I just feel like I've used my voice. Now, am I changing people's lives? No, but I'm entertaining hopefully somebody out there. I'm giving someone to listen to, something to think about, someone to connect with. So there is a purpose. So that's why I'm here. I definitely had some moments where I was down. I was down bad over this little vacation, thinking just like, kind of getting apathetic about like why any of this will matter if this is really going to be the end of the world anyway. But it's not, you guys. We're going to stay positive. We're going to live forever. At this point, this could be like we could be the humans that live the longest out of anybody. That's a whole other conspiracy theory again. I really found myself down a spiral of Hailey Bieber NAD IV treatments. I got to figure out how I can get some of those. And like I said, I'm going to do a Diddy bonus. Okay, you guys, I've committed to doing the Diddy bonus. Keep your eyes peeled for that. So let's get into the rest of the show. My OMG and my LOL of the week. We have, like I said, a lot. So let's get started. So my OMG of the week this week is going to be over at Selling Sunset. If you guys are following me at BACHELORETTE TV on Instagram, which you better be, you probably saw me post this video of Mary and Jason, who Jason is one of the Oppenheim, the O group, the Selling Sunset, little twinsies. I love those short kings. I love them. Like, I used to think like something was off with them. And now as we're 8 seasons in with these guys, I've learned that they're just misunderstood because they're short. And I think, yes, they probably have their own Napoleon complexes, but we also put that on them as a society, and we like almost didn't even like give them a chance because of that. And now that I've given them a chance, I'm totally in love with both of them. My OMG moment of the week does go to the moment though where Jason sits down with Mary. Now remember, guys, we're 8 seasons in, so I can't go like fully back to the beginning with you guys. But Mary and Jason used to date. They don't anymore. You know, Mary's moved on, but they still co-parent their dog, Nico. Nico is actually Mary's dog. She got him 18 years ago before she started dating Jason, but then throughout being with Jason, and then of course, even though Mary and Jason dated, didn't stay together, and then broke up, they still continued to co-parent. And again, they work together and are together every day still, basically. This dog is very important to them, their family, the office, and now the fandom. In this latest season, Jason sits Mary down and explains that Nico's been having some health issues and they need to go to the vet. So they go, whatever. Even when they come back from the vet, Jason's sitting her down. You could tell Mary was expecting to hear like, okay, there's something going on, but it's going to be okay. Or like, it's going to be a slow fade, or it just was not the news she was expecting to hear when Jason then tells her that they only have a few days left with him. And just the utter grief and shock and despair that came over Mary. I mean, holding Nico, holding her face, crying, Jason coming in, hugging her, them crying together. He's crying. I mean, what a man. They're crying, holding the dog together. They're looking at each other and they're almost like laughing because they're crying so hard. It took me out. That scene took me out. I know this isn't your typical OMG moment of the week, but that moment was my OMG moment of the week because I was gripping my chest. I was crying. I was holding the camera because you guys, I mean, me and my ghetto production of a Instagram, I'm always like taking videos of the TV or the iPad like, with my camera and my iPhone and then posting these videos. But I'm trying to take a video of this moment and I'm crying, I'm shaking, they're crying. It was a mess. I'm sniffling, I'm holding Candy. She's crying, which she's laying here right beneath my feet here. Such an angel dog. She had the best flight of her life yesterday. She's probably going on like somewhere between 20 and 30 times flying now. She's my little frequent flyer. And yesterday we boarded, we sat down, got her in. And it was just the perfect time of day for her to take her nap because she skipped her morning nap since we were like going to the airport. And she passed right. She just started falling asleep. Her little eyes were falling asleep in her carrier. Gosh, angel dog. But yeah, it just made me really want to like hold her forever. I just appreciate animals so much and what they bring to us and give to us. And we just don't deserve them. That scene had me in tears. They cut to then the next scene where Brett, who remember is Jason's twin brother, goes into the office to tell all the other ladies that Nico had passed away. They won't be seeing Mary and Jason for a few days as they grieve. They have a whole dog funeral that's over the top that brings one of the biggest fights of the end of the season between Bree, Emma, Chriselle, Chelsea. There's like this huge drama going on. Now, again, was leaving you guys off last episode. I hadn't finished Selling Sunset. I have now. It was a phenomenal season. My only gripe was that there was no Christine Quinn in it yet. And I know that she's been filming, and I do kind of forget that I think what they do with Selling Sunset and Selling the OC is they usually film 2 seasons at a time and then break it up, send it out. So I'm assuming that Christine Quinn will just be in this next section because this is probably recorded before everything went down with her and her husband's crazy divorce. So yeah, that was my OMG moment of the week. I could not handle it. It was so upsetting. I just really wish I could have hugged them both. And, RIP Nico. Gosh, they take the ashes out and they spread them under the tree at the dog funeral. Other final moments about Selling Sunset, just to wrap it up. So Chelsea discovers that her husband, Jeff, was cheating, and she just sits on this information. Like, it's unclear how long she knows before she ever tells him. I need to know her big three. Like, what signs is this woman? Like, where does this come from? Like, if I found out my husband was cheating, I wouldn't be able to keep that a secret for more than one. I would be in 1 second already so I don't know. That was crazy to me that she was so strategic about deciding and really taking the time to decide like what she was going to do with that information. That was really interesting. Now, again, the big fight of this season is that Bree, who is Johnny Manziel, you guys know Nick Cannon's baby mama, Bree. Bree brought on this random girl, Amanda. And you guys know I love an Amanda. We have to stay together. I noticed this Amanda girl last season in season 7 hanging around with some crazy fashions and trying to get into the mix. And I thought she was interesting then. And then all of a sudden to have Bree bring her back on camera, film a scene with her this season, and then have her basically come on just to drop the bomb about Chelsea's husband cheating because Amanda was the one that had received the information or her friend had saw it or whatever, is insane. Like, they totally break the fourth wall, which is so insane for this Netflix reality TV series. Like, we are not giving them enough credit. We're not really giving Adam DeVello enough credit, which I never thought I would say. Again, remember, Adam DeVello also created Laguna Beach in the Hills. So he's the one that is the producer of Selling Sunset, Selling the OC. And it's just... Adam DeVello really did one with this one. I really love that he's letting them break the fourth wall because the big fight is the fact that Bree filmed with her. Like, they were all mad that Bree set up a scene with Amanda to bring this on camera to ruin Chelsea's life, which again is payback because Chelsea talked shit about Bree having Nick Cannon's baby. A lot of drama going on over in Selling Sunset. If you guys did not watch this latest season, I recommend. I would say 8 out of 10 recommend. Pretty good season for them. They kind of left off, like, we know now Chelsea does end up going on to get divorced. You guys know I love to do a live update. Let's just check in with her real quick because I'm curious. I am curious if she's like dating anyone else or, there's been quite a bit of time now. I think that's passed. It's truly no surprise that her Instagram is just a bunch of selfies. So Chelsea. Okay, it doesn't really give me too much information about her. Like, are there captions? Home is where the heart is. Looks like she bought a home. That's good. That means that she moved out. Okay, yeah, just like kind of clicking around to see anything, but not seeing too much. She's been seeing a lot of events. Damn, she is so hot. Like, can you even? I can't even. Okay, so that's enough for Selling Sunset. OMG of the week. Love, love, love. Go watch. Okay, moving right over into my LOL of the week. Let's get into it. Another video, or I made a post about over the week that had me laughing, and just the whole season is insane so far. We're only 2 episodes in. Let's go down to the Jersey Shore. Jersey Shore LOL moment of the week. They're in this, so let's just recap a little bit. We all know Jersey Shore. I would love to show you guys this picture. I went to a Jersey Shore party in like 2009 and I poofed my hair. I did Sally Hansen, like airbrush tan cans. I had like an Ed Hardy dress, big hoop earrings, which like these are the biggest hoop earrings. And I usually wear like, I'm not really a hoop girl, but I had these huge hoop earrings, like the big fur boots, like it was iconic. And I need to find that picture for you guys. I love Jersey Shore. So LOL moment of the week, we used to have regular Jersey Shore. Then when Jersey Shore ended, they were like, how are we going to get, everybody started to move on, get married, have kids. Nobody was going down to the house anymore. Like that chapter had ended. And they were like, okay, we'll just start doing these family vacation trips with everybody. Kind of like Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. Instead of doing a whole season, 3 months of shooting, it's like, just go put them on an island together for a week and see what happens. It's honestly smart. So they were like, okay, Jersey Shore, we're going to just start sending them on these little vacations and see what happens. They go to Italy, they go to Miami, they go on all these different vacations throughout the years now. And we're on season 8, I believe, or 7 or 8 of Family Vacation. And how many seasons of regular Jersey Shore was there? Let's find out. How many seasons of Jersey Shore? 2009 to 2012. 6 seasons. 6 seasons of Jersey Shore, 7 seasons of Jersey Shore Family Vacation. Also, have you guys noticed with Google now is using the AI? So like when you type something in, instead of just having results come up, it will give you like the AI overview. It's actually quite helpful, but creepy. So AI really is taking over. But I don't think it's anything to be afraid of. I heard Rachel Maddow on Watch What Happens Live. She made me feel a little bit better. I think it was her that said we should just be cautiously optimistic. It will probably be helpful, but it just cannot be abused. So, okay, yeah. Jersey Shore, we start off this episode and it's like we got to get all the fam back together, right? So once season wraps or filming wraps for one of the seasons, everybody kind of goes their separate ways for a little while. They need to get everybody back together. Producers usually come up with some excuse, right? Like last year it was because there was Jersey Shore Day that was officially given to them in New Jersey. And there's always like a beginning of the season, kind of like with Housewives too, right? There's always like a kickoff event. And this time their kickoff event was this meatball party, right? Like we're going to have a meatball contest at Snooki's basement. No, you guys, I'm not kidding. Like this is how low budget Jersey Shore is. The entire budget goes to paying these people. These are probably like the highest paid per episode reality TV stars, like definitely on MTV. You know, they've got to be paid like way more than the Teen Mom girlies, but there's no budget for this show. And they're in Snooki's basement. Everybody's having this meatball party. And Angelina, you know, the independent queen that she is, isn't really much of a cook. And she's like, I'm going to just bring these frozen meatballs, put them in a crock pot or whatever. Everyone else is making these like Italian at home, like family recipes. Angelina's like got these frozen meatballs in her hand. All of a sudden, she just opens up her underwear, sticks them down into her pants, and then she's walking around with her sweatpants with these like frozen meatballs in her underwear. Like this woman is one of the most unhinged reality TV stars we've ever had in the history of reality TV. Like we don't talk about Angelina enough. We do not talk about her enough. Like, first of all, in the off season, she's got domestic violence charges going on. She's had drama with finding her biological father. She has all kinds of things happening. And then she comes into the season and it's always like she shows up in that first episode and she's expecting everyone to apologize to her for something. We do not deserve Angelina. She is so good. She is one of those characters that like normally people would probably assume that I would hate because this is the type of behavior that I don't usually condone on Bravo. Like if housewives were acting like that, I would truly be like, get a grip. But because it's Angelina, it's our dumpster diva from Staten Island, I just allow her to do whatever she wants. She can do no wrong to me. She can get away with anything. She can act totally insane. I'm going to be Team Angelina forever. I just love her. I just love that insane cuckoo bananas crazy girl. So yeah, that was really my LOL of the week, was that part where Angelina put the balls in her underwear. And then the producer goes, you cannot bring those. She like takes them out of her underwear and puts them in the frying pan and starts making them. And the producer's like, Angelina, no. And it's giving Amber Portwood on Teen Mom has to film at home, but like there's no one with her. So the producer just has to sit with her and converse with her. That's what Angelina gives. Angelina and Amber Portwood are very each other coded. And they have a lot of the same demons that they're battling. Okay, so let's talk about Jersey Shore just a little bit more because I have some notes I want to just run down. This season is only 2 episodes and it's really good so far. I'm enjoying it. So let's just check in with everybody really quick. Mike himself, he's calling himself the publication this season. Every season, he's like the situation, the reparation, the reconciliation, he's always coming up with something really funny like that. Mike, again, another reality TV star that we just like, I mean, they really did it with Jersey Shore. They really did it with Jersey Shore. So he has written this book. He's really working on getting the word out about his sobriety and just how he got there, all of the things that he has gone through. If you guys don't remember that he went to prison and his cellmate was Michael Cohen, who had been put in prison for the issues with Trump and Rudy Giuliani and all these things. So Mike and Michael Cohen, Situation and Michael Cohen, were playing bocce ball, eating chicken fingers in prison. I mean, this man, the stories for days. So I think the book is called Reality Checked. Go check it out. Mike the Situation. He always has beef with Angelina. They have a really good brother-sister relationship. The season starts off with them and like a big fight with them that's going on. Because Mike just can't stop popping out babies. They have 3 kids now, which I feel like in this economy, who has 3 kids anymore? In this year of our Lord 2024, like who's popping out 3 kids that are under the ages of 3 already? Like this is very Danny and Nia. They're very Danny and Nia coded. Mike and Lauren. I love when they call her Lawrence. I also can't like not say Soder because of Mike, like Soder Pop. So funny. Let me just get comfortable here, you guys. This is gonna be another supersized episode. It is 35 minutes in, and I have barely gotten through my LOL of the week. So this is what happens when I skip a week. Okay, so let's move down my list. Continue here. We have next Vinny. So what's going on with Vinny this season? Now, producers have rolled up their sleeves and they've gotten in. They know there's a lot of reality TV out there now to compete with, and they need to keep streaming numbers up. Like I know that the Jersey Shore, like we didn't have Snooki there for a little while, which was really interesting because the show went on without her. I have my suspicions of why, I think she was having some like marital problems and stuff. And that was a big reason why she was not there. And then, taking away time from her kids and stuff, but they got everybody back. They ended up getting everybody back now, including Ron, including Sam. Like every single original cast member is on and active on this show now. And producers have been working fucking hard. Put it that way. They've been working harder than the devil out here trying to get this show to like stay on because it got really bad and gimmicky there. It was giving Kardashians at the end when it was just like Scott doing Todd Cranes. Like it was just Pauly doing prank wars. Vinny, like it was just not good. The show was trash and it should have been canceled probably several times. But they got Snooki back. They got everybody back. They opened up the wallets. Like I said, the budget goes now to the cast and they're just hanging out in people's basements. They're not doing anything. But they got everybody back, which is the most important part. Like, what is the show without these, like, we need these people. So, the producers now have really highlighted, like, okay, we got to get deeper on what's going on with them outside of the show. We got to get them to start bringing stuff on camera. We can't be dancing around stuff anymore. Like, we need to be back to really how the old Jersey Shore was, where we really we're following what was going on in these people's lives and not just doing like fake shit on the show just to have a show. Like Family Fun Day, Dina, no offense. No more Family Fun Days. Oh my God. So Mike, he's really getting into his addiction, the book, being a dad, all this stuff. He's going hard. He always delivers. He moves the storyline. He is the Tamra of Jersey Shore. Vinny is getting into his mental health storyline. So they actually show a lot of interesting flashbacks of him back in Jersey Shore that I didn't remember, of him having anxiety attacks and some breakdowns and really struggling with his mental health. So that helped me kind of like understand Vinny a little bit more again and kind of get into his personal history and what we can expect from him this season. Now, I've always, he's my age. He's 37, I believe. And he's, been known to be kind of impossible to settle down. We've never really seen him with a girlfriend. He seems to honestly be a self-proclaimed sex addict, porn addict. He's kind of always talked about that. Now, I watched that show, of course I did, called Double Shot at Love with Vinny and Pauly on MTV. It was 3 seasons, and where it's a dating show where Vinny and Pauly get to date all these girls and they get to have their bachelor moment. And Vinny did actually pick a girl in the end. And that was really interesting. Pauly also did. He got down to his finalist, Nikki, who is still his current girlfriend. But in the show, if you guys remember, if you probably don't, because you probably didn't watch it because nobody did. Pauly and Nikki, he doesn't choose her in the end. He basically is like, I like you, but like, I'm going to leave the show alone. And that devastated her. But then they got together like after filming and then COVID happened and they've been together ever since. But Nikki hasn't been on the show in like a couple seasons and everybody's always wondered like what's been going on with them. But she's back this season too. They were like, no, Pauly, if you're going to be on the show, you're showing your relationship with Nikki. Vinny, you're going to be on the show. You're showing your mental health problems. We're doing this damn thing. Then Angelina, I mean, she always shows it all. We don't even have to go on with her. I already mentioned like what her storylines are. She had a big domestic violence thing with Vinny. She had charges pressed against her. Vinny 2.0, again, not Vinny Guadagnino from the house. Vinny, her boyfriend, fiance, who they're not together anymore now. spoiler alert, but this season will go over that relationship. Snooki gets a little bit of a pass again. She doesn't have to ever talk about Gianni or any of the problems that happened with him, but she's using her storyline to talk about her birth parents, her siblings, using Ray and me, which again, you guys, I need to get off TikTok because now I realize like how many conspiracy theories or just, maybe we'll just call it news. But did you guys see that with 23andMe, this company decided to go private? It used to be a public company where everything, I can't pretend like I know shit about, do you guys ever watch Ozark? When Julia Gardner, when she plays Ruth, she's like, I don't know fuck about shit. Like that's how I feel basically in life. So I can't pretend to know really anything about this, but apparently 23andMe went from being a publicly traded company to wanting to go private now. And then all of the CEOs stepped down and they're thinking that like all of our DNA that's been connected, myself included, because I have done 20, is going to be used now for so many different things. I mean, that's all I'm going to say about that. But JWoww or Snooki uses that to go into a birth parent journey this season. She again is from Chile. She was born in Chile and was adopted at 6 months old. So Snooki has a very interesting story. JWoww, we haven't really gotten to her yet much this season. She's kind of just giving comedic relief in these first 2 episodes. We have seen a lot with her. Her and Roger were insane. That was a crazy marriage. Her son, Grayson, has developmental disabilities and is on the spectrum. And she talks a lot about that, has shown that in previous seasons. I'm interested to see like where she's going to get into the mix this season with everybody. Then we have Ron and Sammy. So Sammy is actually videoing and journaling her IVF journey this season. And she's also 37, my age. I find it very interesting to see her going through this process. Seems absolutely horrible. I mean, I would like to say never, but I have no intention on ever doing that. So seeing other people going through that, just really, I tip my hat to them because it could not be me. And then we have Ron, who he says he's working with Lamar Odom and also helping people with substance abuse and opening recovery centers and treatment centers in California. So Ronnie's fucking killing it. And then Dina, I'm curious too what we're going to see come out with Dina this season. She's in a pretty solid marriage. She seems like a great mom. She never really has family drama. I'm hoping she's going to be fighting with the girlies. And we are going to maybe see some fights with the girlies with her. So yeah, that's Jersey Shore. I just wanted to run down everybody and where we stand with everybody this season in hopes that you guys will go watch. Now, I was trying to figure out where I was going to stream this. And I'm like, it's not on Hulu. Not on Paramount Plus. It's not on Peacock. It's not like, where can I watch this show? It's not, I have Spectrum for my cable. Can't watch it on there. It's not on demand there. Where the hell can I watch this? I had to pay for it for one episode, $3 on my Prime app. They're gatekeeping the fuck out of this episode. They really want everyone to be watching live and getting these ratings up. Like they're working hard. So I don't even know what night it's on. It's Thursday. It's always Thursdays. Thursdays, Jersdays. So please go watch on MTV so that we can keep this show going. And with that, let's take a short break and we will get into my top 5 countdown of the week. Hey guys, welcome back to Bella Talks TV. We're going to get right into my top 5 countdown here of reality TV's most talked about moments of the week. And again, today is Monday, September 30th. So tomorrow is October 1st, which again is a reminder of the new RHONY season premiere coming out on Bravo. It's going to be a good season. I have low expectations, but you guys, like, there's no such thing as a bad season of Housewives to me. It's pretty rare. I've watched them all. I've seen every single episode. I ain't quitting now. So I will be there and I will be watching that. I'm actually going to a watch party. Shout out to, again, I always am shouting out to my girlies at RHOPOL, Real Housewives of Politics page. All my girlies over there running that. They're doing a watch party tomorrow with also my friend Stars by Alyssa. I will put all their information in the episode description. Go follow all of their pages. They're amazing. So we're going to be doing the watch party tomorrow for the premiere, and I will be with all of them. I'm so excited. So it feels so good to be back in New York. All right, so my top 5 countdown of the week. So I talk, one thing I've noticed with a lot of podcasts lately is like some go on vibes and some go on facts. Some people are investigative journalists and some people are just truly opening their mouth and yapping. And I'm kind of in between. I don't want to be totally just fake newsing and spreading, lies and gossip. But I also like to do a little bit of research. I love to grab my phone and give a real-time update. So we're going to go down my list of things here. Some I might have to pull my phone out, and some I might know a little too much about already. So we'll have to just see how this top 5 goes, because there's some random things on here yet that I haven't got the full story for yet. And I'm actually curious myself, what the hell this is going on. Okay, so yeah, let's get into my top 5 countdown. My number 5 most talked about moment of the week is the Golden Bachelorette premiere. So, I did a poll on my Instagram and I asked, are you guys watching the Golden Bachelorette? It ended up being about 70-30. People are not watching it, but I'm hoping after you listen to this episode, if you're not listening to it, that you will give it a chance. I know a lot of people were not happy with the way that the Golden Bachelor went with Gary. Gary spelled like Jerry, which will still haunt me to the day that I die. People had a problem with Gary because him and Teresa got married. They got divorced after a month, and a lot of people blamed it on a lot of different things. And I'm going to blame it on nothing but ABC producers, because I don't think that they really ever should have got married. I don't think that they were really ready. I mean, hello, that's the part of The Bachelor that is the most frustrating, is that who could ever be ready to get married after a month? But that's what the premise of the show is, and they get paid a lot to do these weddings. I mean, it is contractually lucrative for them to complete the full trajectory of their journey on The Bachelor. Let's just put it that way. And because of all the pressure of the network and everything that goes on with that, sometimes these contestants make decisions that are not the best decisions for themselves. And that's why I refuse to blame Gary or Teresa for the way that their marriage ended. And that's why I went into the Golden Bachelorette with fresh new eyes, feeling hopeful and bright about Joan being the Golden Bachelorette, because she wasn't the one that, she's not Teresa. She's not the one that it didn't work out with Gary. And then she's also not the runner up. So it was she was eliminated a couple episodes in. She actually left on her own accord because her family, she really wanted to get back to see her family, and she was really struggling. But she was a fan favorite, and she's a hottie. She's 61. She looks great. She has a great personality. She just seems perfect to be the Golden Bachelorette. So I totally see why they chose her. Okay, yes. So Joan was the perfect pick for the Golden Bachelorette. She ticks all the boxes, right? Who wouldn't want to date Joan at 61? Joan is all fine and dandy. Okay, we love Joan. But the best part about this show so far are the men. I never knew that watching 20 men over the age of 60 was going to be so entertaining, so endearing, so amazing. I'm obsessed with every single one of them. The casting, they killed it. I was nervous for a while. I would see these ads and I would see these things online being now casting, for the Golden Bachelor. I would be oh God, this is not good. And if Gary was the best that they did for the first Golden Bachelor, it wasn't looking good for the franchise. But they knocked it out of the park. I'm not going to talk about every single guy that's on the show, but all I'm going to say is I've cried. I've had cry spells over these men. Their stories are amazing. And each one of them, in the first episode, they do the limo, right? Which they always do the limo. And the guys have some really good limo. I don't know what they really are, those little mnemonic devices, those little tricks that they give for Joan, for them to remember their names, or little things for instance, the guy Chalk, not Chuck, CHOCK, Chalk. He gives her chock-a-doodle soup that is his secret chicken noodle soup recipe and stuff. Those little things. These men are just, I love them all. So let's talk about a couple of them so that you guys can hopefully, again, with Jersey Shore, I'm trying to get us to watch more reality TV than Bravo, so that we can come back and talk about these shows and have a little bit more of a spectrum. Because I think when we're only in the Bravo sphere and in this universe of housewives and stuff, it's that's only going to Asia and never figuring out what it's like to go to Australia. It's you have to see the world and see all these different perspectives and cultures, right? So let's talk about some of this stuff that's been going on the Golden Bachelorette. It's such a good season so far. Okay, so we meet Joan, or we met Joan last season on the Golden Bachelor, but she comes in and they tell the story about how she lost her husband. And a lot of the men on the show are are no, what is the word? Oh my God. You guys know what I mean. Lost their wives. A lot of the guys on the show lost their wives. A few of them are divorced, but I think a majority of them have lost their wives. And that's again, like another really important part of the casting and just like how they got the quality of these people to be on the show, to be there for the right reasons, right? We talk about this, which there's one guy that they were able to suss out that they think that was maybe not there for the right reasons. And we'll talk about him. But so it's the typical show though. Still, they all meet at the mansion. They do the limo. They do the first night. The sun is coming up, just like in the regular. They keep these men up. These poor guys. One guy is like, I would be getting up for work right now. Like they're down bad that first night because they're exhausted. They're not used to this filming. They've been worn down. They get to this first night, and they're giving out the first impression rose, and it just kicks off in such a great way. Everyone's so supportive. The guys from the beginning are just really loving each other. But what they did this season that was a little bit different is they allowed the children, I believe most of it was their children. If any of them didn't have kids, it was another family member. I think one guy had his mom submit a video. But that first night after they all meet in the limo, they sit down and they all as a group watch each other's families send in videos in support of the man that is there. Every single man starts crying. I mean, if you don't know how powerful watching a room full of 6-year-old men crying together is, that are all from different races, different backgrounds, that randomly met an hour ago. I mean, this show, it did something to me. It really did something to me. Like it really did, like in the world of Diddy, in a world of Harvey Weinstein, in a world of all this stuff. Like I was not sure we were gonna make it. And these men really gave me hope, because these men have sons, these men have daughters that will hopefully raise families and continue to keep this spirit alive. But okay, so let me get through the first night and let's just talk about some of these guys. So a front runner that is in this season is Mark, and Mark is Kelsey's dad. Kelsey was on the previous season of The Bachelor with Joey, and she won. She's engaged to Joey, the Bachelor, right now. So this is the Bachelor Joey and Kelsey's, this is their dad. This is Kelsey's dad. That's coming on. That Kelsey's mom passed away 6 years ago, and now he's ready. He wanted to meet Joan, and I mean, he's definitely a front runner. First of all, he's hot, and he just seems like a really good guy. But if he is not picked by Joan, he will for sure, mark my words now, be the next Golden Bachelor. He will be perfect for it. So we have Mark, and then just kind of in some of the guys in the order that they arrived in the limo, we had Pascal, which, if you guys remember, I'm a Chicago girly, and there's the 3 men from Chicago in this season, which I loved the representation. So we have Pascal, who's actually from France originally, who's a hairstylist that lives in Chicago, that owns a very successful salon, and clearly, is very successful. And at first I was like, this guy seems a little bit like out there, but Joan, her impression of him made me feel better about him. She was like, because he's very outgoing and has this really strong like French accent, and he's just it's kind of like a lot, but Joan really was into it. She was like, no, he makes me feel young, fun, sexy. I'm like, ooh, okay, Pascal's one to watch. I'm sorry guys, I hate when other podcasts too will be like, oh my God, can you hear that? And you can't even hear what's going on, but there's just a lot of noise outside my window, so I'm gonna try to keep going because I'm on a roll here. But okay, so then we have another person that shows up is Gary, and he is Tina Turner's godson, and he too seems like such a light, seems so amazing, and just seems like a really good guy. So I think that he's going to be somebody who kind of makes it far in this show. He seems to get a lot of camera time so far. Another person is Jonathan. Jonathan is a sexy, bald zaddy too, and he's got like this chest tattoo that looks like feathers or something. Again, like 60-year-olds aren't usually my thing. The thing about this show that I've noticed though is like, he's not just a pretty face. Like into episode 2, they really show, like, he ends up winning to be so the first episode, we're kind of getting like ahead a little bit here, but the first episode is very standard, right? We all know how the first episode of The Bachelor and Bachelorette go. The second episode is when they start to do things, and they have their first group date, and they have a senior prom, which is so cute, like senior citizen prom. So they have their senior prom, and Jonathan tells the story about how he never got to go to his own prom. And then he comes to this prom, and then Joan actually makes him prom king. So another, he's crying, she's crowning him. It's like, so he's not just like a pretty face, he's a sensitive soul. And she too starts to see that in him. She's like, damn, like I could really have feelings for Jonathan, because he's got it. He's so hot, and he has an amazing soul. So I'm going to be interested to see. He's somebody who is divorced, and he talks about that. He did not lose his ex-wife. So again, there's always a little mystery to be thought about with the men who got divorced. But they were all endorsed by their children to be there and stuff, and I'm sure it's all good. But okay, so then we have to talk about Charles. Now, Charles, if you guys don't know who Charles is, pause this, go to my Instagram and watch my last 2 reels. I posted 2 clips of him. One clip I posted of him walking around the Bachelor mansion for the first time and just like looking in the fridge, turning on the stove, like knocking on the wood, like to see what it is. He's just a national treasure. The second episode, then when they go to the senior prom, they pan to him, just like everyone's dancing and having a great night, and he's just by himself. And he talks about how he's never been able to like do anything, smile, or have a single day of like happiness since his wife passed away. And she had a brain aneurysm, and he talks about how they were each other's first and only loves. They were never with anybody else. So from 17 years old, each other's only loves, each other's only everythings. And then she passes away suddenly of a brain aneurysm. And he's like, I didn't even get to, like, it wasn't even like she was sick and I knew, like she was the only person I was ever with. So it's been, again, I think a few years for him too. And he just talks about, he's so vulnerable about how this is really hard for him. He's like, this is going to be really hard. By the end of the prom, this man is dancing. He's playing skee ball. He's talking about how he calls his daughter, and he's like, this is the happiest day that I've had since she passed. You don't have a soul if you watch this show and you don't cry. I will challenge you on that. I mean, this show is good, you guys. Like, please go watch. Let's talk about a few more of these men. Kim, he is a retired Navy captain. He's the first guy that we see a little toxicity coming out of, a little jealousy. They go on a group date, and Kim was a front runner to win the group date, but basically came in second, and he was salty. So got to keep an eye on Kim. A really funny scene. I'm going to have to go back and get this clip. I didn't pull it because I was too tired last night. There's a scene where all of the men, they sleep in the Bachelor mansion, you guys. Like, just like the Bachelors, they're on bunk beds, and there's like 6 guys in a room, and these are 60, 69-year-old men. They're really cracking me up. They're all around the next day taking naps because they said that they can't sleep at night because everybody snores. And then they're doing impressions of each other snoring. And then one guy, Greg, who seems to be the worst snorer of all of the men are roasting him. And Pascal, the French guy, Greg's like, I woke up in the middle of the night to a naked French man punching me because of his snoring. I was cracking up at that. And then Pascal says, well, I'm not going to really beat him up because Greg does my laundry. And then they show Greg how he loves to do laundry and sort through everybody's stuff. I mean, these men. There's a guy named Guy. I mean, how dad is that? Okay, I have to talk about, they have the first rose ceremony. A few men go home. A few controversial men go home that I was sad about. 2. One, a man named Bob. Bob, when they did back in that first episode, I talked about how they had everybody's daughters or children send in videos. His daughter sent in a video, strong butch lesbian, just very mass. We love that. I'm not bringing that up in a negative way. I'm actually bringing that up in a positive way. Bob, she shows up on the screen, and they show Bob, and Bob already starts crying, right? Because it's his daughter. And she goes on to be like, Dad, you're going to kill it. Like, have fun. And then she says, when I came out and when I decided to, be gay, you were my number one supporter. I don't want to say decided to be gay. That is not politically correct, but you guys know what I mean. When I came out and decided to live my life as a gay and out and proud person on an LGBTQ TI person. I want to make sure that I'm not offending anybody, but you guys know what I mean. That when I decided to come out, you're my number one supporter. And then he goes on to tell a story at how at Thanksgiving now, his house will be filled with up to 27 lesbians. He's like, he called it Bob's house for wayward lesbians. Again, a national treasure. Now he went home. So I was really sad to see him go. We wish the best for Bob. Now, another person that went home, though, that people said maybe was not here for the right reasons. He was having a little too many cocktails and he was spending a little bit too much time doing cannonballs in the pool, was Jack. Jack was another guy from Chicago that I was rooting for. He came in singing Frank Sinatra My Way to Joan out of the limo. And then that first night in the house, when all of the men are drinking, hanging out, whatever, doing their little, you know how the first night the producers give everybody a chance to sit down with Joan and they can have like a little date set up? This man cooked an entire meal from scratch for her. So that was pretty impressive. So Jack with the Frank Sinatra singing and the cooking for her to go home. But they said, you know, Jack might have been there for the right reasons. He might have just been there just to be on camera. He was kind of giving that energy. I'm not going to lie. He was doing a lot of cannonballs. He was like loving the pool. I think when he walked into the room for the first time, he got out of the limo, he met Joan, and then he walked into the room of the men afterwards where the men see them for the first time. His first words were, "Did someone say bourbon?" Jack's a party guy. So sad to see Jack go. That is all I will say about the Golden Bachelorette. Please go watch it so that we can talk about it some more. It's going to be a really good season. There's a lot of things to look forward to. They do, in Bachelor lore history, they love to show us the shot of the in the dress, waiting at the podium with the rose. They did not show any rings, any fingers, sometimes they like to do that. Like back in the day when it was just all white people, they would just show like one white finger because you would never know who it is. Now if they were to do that, like if she chooses one of the diverse men on the cast, you would know right away who it was because there's only like 2 or 3 of them. So we don't want any spoilers. I never go get the spoilers. I know they're online. So, all right. That again is all I will say. Number 5 most talked about moment of the week, the return of the Golden Bachelorette. Okay, so number 4 most talked about moment of the week is hard left turn alert, but still in the realm of Beverly Hills. We're staying out in the hills of California. We have to talk about what's going on with Kim Richards. So again, this is one of the parts where I'm going to get my phone out because I don't want to just go off of vibes and not give you guys facts, but let's find out exactly what happened with her because TMZ and people and everybody, all of the reputable sources are reporting that Kim was placed in a 5150 psychiatric hold over the weekend. I think Kyle Richards was present, allegedly. Let's find out exactly what happened with this. I'm going to bring up that Kim People article. She's 60. It just popped up just so you guys know, too, kind of what we're working with here. Maybe she could be the next Golden Bachelorette. Okay, people.com. Kim Richards was placed on psychiatric hold. Law enforcement called after dispute with sister Kyle amid relapse. Says the former Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star struggles with substance abuse have been long documented on the Bravo show, and Kim Richards is reportedly facing struggles after years of being candid about her addiction struggles. According to TMZ, Kim and her sister Kyle were involved in a dispute earlier this week over the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star's relapse into her alcohol addiction. Okay, so that's important too. I wasn't sure what substance was being abused. So it looks like she's back on the bottle. A spokesperson for the LAPD confirms to people that law enforcement reported to an incident on Wednesday, September 25th in the Encino area, where a source tells people Kyle owns a home that Kim has recently been staying in. Okay, so what happened to the house that Kim was living in where she drew all over the walls? Where's that house? The LAPD tells people officers responded to keep the peace after a female reportedly violated a restraining order. However, after an investigation, they determined there was no order on file and no crime was committed. Okay, so if Kyle called the police and basically tried to say, my sister is here, I have a restraining order and she's not allowed to be here in this home that I own or whatever. And then police showed up and they determined that that was a lie. So Kyle did it. Sounds like maybe abuse the system here a little bit, but I don't blame her for wanting to get the police involved. I guess if she needed help. Both parties were informed of eviction process and officers kept the peace. A manager for Kim and Kyle has responded with no comment. All right. According to TMZ, earlier this month, Kim, 60, was staying in a Hilton hotel until she was placed on a 5150 psychiatric hold and taken to a hospital for incoherent behavior. After her release, Kyle, 55, reportedly allowed Kim to stay in her home to help her get back on her feet. Okay, so that explains why she wasn't staying. But no, it doesn't explain where the house went. Why was she staying at the Hilton hotel? Maybe because so they could watch her? Did they know that she had relapsed? I'm obviously speculating, you guys. I have no idea. The outlet reports that this family has cut off all contact with Kim in hopes that the shutout will help her get sober again. Over the years, the reality star has been open with her struggles with alcohol addiction. Her journey with sobriety has long... Yes. Okay, we knew that. I mean, yeah, remember when Kyle outed her? I mean, yeah, very sad, you guys. So it doesn't seem like we really know. We don't really have any updates yet about what's going on, but this is not good. This is really not good. And we want to make sure that we rally around them. Gosh, of course. I mean, I would never even joke and be like, Andy and a camera. Like, this isn't one of those things you like bring cameras back up for. We just want Kim to heal. So that was my number 4 most talked about moment of the week, is Kim getting placed on the psychiatric hold and relapsing, which is truly like the bigger story. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, she seemed like when she was on camera the last couple of times, like she possibly could have been using again. But again, allegedly. Okay, my number 3 most talked about moment of the week is another alcohol-fueled housewives moment in Miami. So let's talk about this drink that was thrown at Gertie from Julia. Again, I don't want to not give you guys the facts, so let me make sure I don't just go off vibes here. But I believe the story was that Gertie went on social media the other day and she posted definition of assault, and the screenshot of it, I really hope it wasn't Urban Dictionary. Should I find it? Oh my God, where did she find this? I really want to know where she found this definition. I also want to know like if anybody officially reported on this. Reality Blurb. Okay, let's do realityblurb.com. Okay, RHOM star Gertie Abrera unfollows Julia Lemagova, shares cryptic post about assault after someone suggesting that a drink was thrown on her, referring to Julia. Gertie Abrera shared a cryptic post about an assault and suggested someone threw a drink at her, blah, blah, blah. Okay, just said that. The latest season of Real Housewives is going to be insane. What if someone... Okay, on her Instagram stories, Gertie shared the post about the assault. And assault is in quotes here. The question says, what if someone throws a drink at you? The incident left many wondering, is someone throwing a drink at someone considered assault? And Gertie's post went on to say, yes, throwing a drink at someone is assault. And this is hashtag the more you know. It didn't give, I'm going to show you guys, this is all it said. It doesn't give the source of where that came from. So I don't know if that was just Google. It just says, what if someone throws a drink at you? Throwing a drink at someone is assault in many circumstances. Now, that is very important verbiage. That's very Meredith Marks verbiage. In certain circumstances, that is how you're able to not just say, okay, yes, it's assault. It has to be under the right circumstances. So we don't know yet if this is assault. Meanwhile, the fan account at rhom.bravo pointed out that Gertie is no longer following Julia and that many viewers believe the cryptic post was about her. On Sunday, Gertie also wrote a post that seemingly addressed the situation in the caption of a photo where she's looking into a mirror. Housewives, they're just like us. The star wrote, when you can look in the mirror and recognize who you are because you'll never sell your soul. Gertie turned off the comments. This is so Gertie. I have to show you guys this too. Oh my gosh. Here's the post where she's just looking into a mirror herself with the caption. I think you guys know I a couple episodes ago talked about how I was actually disappointed that Gertie was coming back this season. I think she got lost in the sauce. I think this proves it. And you know what she's actually reminding me of a little bit? She's giving me a little bit of like Dr. Contessa vibes from Married to Medicine. She's giving me a little bit of Kenya. She's giving me a little bit of trying to think of someone who really blows things out of proportion. I don't know. I have to think more. But okay. Shouldn't Julia be focusing on those 2 babies she just adopted? Hopefully. Okay, but what does it say? But on RHOM, okay, this is fan reaction. Shouldn't Julia be focusing on those 2 babies she just adopted? Hopefully she's not the one that threw a drink at Gertie, but it's sure looking that way. Said, oh, this is the blonde Puerto Rican. Oh my God. Hey, girl. Okay, I'm going to tag her. Referring to the recent news that Julia and her wife, tennis legend Martina Navratilova, adopted 2 boys. Yes, we love that story. Julia said she's tired of y'all thinking she's boring. True. I hope Miami doesn't go down the petty path of the rest of the housewives. Exactly. So one comment that I made was, you don't see John Aiden acting like that, which I was shocked to say myself. But yeah, I mean, Danielle literally smashed a glass up against her face at a party, and Julia was never like, oh, that's an assault. You assaulted me, and like freaked out and ran away crying. We do not condone physical violence on this show. That's not what I'm trying to say. I don't want my housewives doing this stuff, but shit happens. Things do get physical. I actually need to tell you a quick story here. Quick detour. I'm at LaGuardia yesterday. I land at the baggage claim. I have Candy with me. I have my carry-on bag with me. So I have her carry-on case. She's out of the case because, you know, she's been in there for hours. Like when I get out to the baggage claim, I usually take her out. And then we're waiting for my suitcase to come. I have like a little area that I have taken up with my stuff because of the dog. And I'm trying to stand off to the side and I'm looking for my bag. This guy keeps walking around like in my space. Like he's got 4 Disney bags. He's got headphones on that are little kid headphones with like the kitty ears on. He's like a bigger guy, but he's short like me. And he's just like in my space. He's like stepping on my bag. He's almost like stepping on my candy. And there's a lot of space. There's no reason to be that close to me. He's kind of like bumping into me a little bit. I'm increasingly starting to get like a little bit annoyed. I kind of like am giving looks to the people around me. Like, is anyone else seeing this? Is it me? Am I not? Okay, so he's coming up. He's really starting to crowd me and annoy me. On the other side of me, this older man and his wife too also start kind of like coming up behind me. Again, there is tons of space. It is a huge baggage claim area. So and I'm not even standing at like the spout area, you know, where people like to like gate lice, like the bag. Like, I'm way on the other end. Like I'm around the 3rd corner of the stretch of the thing. I'm very patient. I'm very demure and I'm very cutesy when I'm picking up my baggage from the fucking baggage claim. So he's in my space. This other guy, I finally tell the older guy because he just seems more with it. I'm like, excuse me, sir, can you just please like back it up just a little bit? Because I have my dog. I'm trying to get my bag. I'm alone here. Give me some space. He's like, I understand. I'm sorry. The other guy, though, is actually increasingly getting like worse and like stepping on me more and like bumbling around. And he's also got this big backpack on that he keeps like bumping into me with. And finally, I said, in a little bit more of a snarky way, not so nice, that I said to the nice elderly man that was next to me, I was like, bro, can you back it up a little bit? There's tons of space. There's no reason for you to be bumping into me. And he kind of just turns and looks at me and he doesn't say anything. He never says a word to me. He just looks at me and he kind of looks at me confused. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm looking around. His family and stuff are kind of there. And he's not by himself. He's with a big group, but it's like, go over there with them. And he kind of looks at me or whatever. And then he continues to do it. And that's when I got mad because I asked you, maybe not politely, but I did ask you to stop. And now you're just going to continue to like bump into me and like be in my space. So then I got a little bit louder and was like, please go away from me. There's lots of space. And I start to raise my voice like this. And all of a sudden, his wife came out of nowhere. She comes up to me and she goes, you got a problem with my husband? It was literally exactly like Talene from Real Houses of Dubai. She's like, you got a problem with my husband? And I did. I actually respond. I mean, I think I've been watching too much Housewives. I literally got up and I was like, yeah, I got a problem with your husband. He's standing in my space, stepping on my dog, stepping on my shit. Tell him to go away. And she literally raised a fist to hit me, and her husband pulled her back, and their family like pulled her back, and they moved away. Like I almost got assaulted at LaGuardia yesterday. Did I run my mouth a little bit? Yeah, I probably could have asked him nicer, but like I had enough, and now I'm scared of like the state of the world that we live in. That was like a crazy little just a sidebar I had. I kind of forgot that happened. Good Lord. Okay, so back to that. So Danielle never even pressed charges or did a lawsuit or had a restraining order or refused to film or wouldn't be in the same room or whatever. I got to give Jen Aiden some credit here. She pulled her bootstraps up and she got back to work. So I really don't like that Gertie is already doing this again. She is the victim. She's got that victim complex. And that's why I think I won't say the stuff about the cancer again. You guys know I talked about that before. I won't rehash. But to come in and to now say that she assaulted, take it to a place of court, take it to a place of lawsuit. We cannot have our housewives doing this. Please stop suing each other, serving each other, assaulting each other, taking it to this place. It's just housewives, you guys. So yeah, that was my number 3 most talked about moment of the week, is the circulating story. More will have to develop. I believe cameras were up. So we got Andy and a camera. We're going to find out what happened. We got to be patient. Okay, so speaking of suing each other and serving each other, this is a perfect segue into my number 2 most talked about moment of the week, which is Ryan and Tamra and the big fight out in the OC about whether or not Tamra should have had to apologize for saying that Ryan stole on Watch What Happens Live. So let's get into it. I got to talk about the facts here. Okay, so my number 2 most talked about moment of the week. Okay, so let's go back to this episode. Let's go back to the place of this party at Katie and Matt's house on this latest episode of OC. So everybody's showing up, and we're noticing that as everybody is showing up, it's a couple's party. So Shannon's not going to be there. Like Katie said, she would be the 9th wheel. It wouldn't be good. She's home with Archie. So all the other couples are gathering in Katie's backyard. They're talking, someone talked about, I think it was Watch What Crappens, was like, this party looked boring as hell. Like nothing was happening. So Tamra started drinking. Tam was hitting those martinis. One of my favorite shots is that meme circulating of Eddie in the background and then Tamra sipping the martini. That should be my phone screensaver. So funny. But Tamra starts hitting the bottle. And I was just talking about this too. Like the problem with Tamra, the only problem I'm going to say about her right now, because she is my queen, is that if she could learn how to deliver these hard truths, if she could learn how to deliver her lines without needing liquid courage. She's always talking about like, I don't have a drinking problem, which I do believe. I don't think she drinks. She's one of the few housewives I follow. She's not out. She's home. She's a normal person off camera. She drinks. The problem is that when she drinks on camera, she drinks too much because she wants to say things and she wants to keep storyline moving and she needs liquid courage. And she's been very open about this. Now, yeah, I think there's lots of different kinds of drinking problems. That sounds like a drinking problem, but it's different than Shannon's drinking problem. It's a spectrum. But she tends to do this. And the problem with this is that she's sitting down and she's wasted and she's slurring and she's starting, just like Dorinda would say. And I'm drinking Llewellyn like Tinsley. It's a lot. And she's doing her scene. She's trying to get these lines out and she's trying to get this storyline moving. Producers are like, we got to get this on camera. There's whispers, there's things like it's been all these months of filming and nobody will bring up what's going on with Ryan. At the time, Ryan was being investigated by the FBI and things hadn't came out yet about what was going to surface. So we're in this scene and nobody knows yet like what Tam was really talking about, or they do know, but they don't really understand it. And they've heard rumblings and rumors, but they don't really know what is true and what isn't. So that's kind of the problem, right? Like we're talking about vibes and facts. Like Tamra goes off vibes most of the time and yaps. And so that's her problem. But, a broken clock is still right twice a day. So if she spouts off a bunch of bullshit, like every once in a while, some things that she predicts and says is going to come true. So these things about Ryan are really bothering her because Ryan went on a podcast and he talked shit about Eddie and said Eddie was soft, alluding to the fact that Eddie is gay, which he's not the first one that has brought this up. And I don't think that there's any truth to it, but I think that if men, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't want to speculate about Eddie's sexuality. It's really not the point. The point is that Tamara brings up this stuff about Ryan because Ryan was going in about Eddie and he was talking shit. And the one thing that she has got a good point about is that Eddie's never been on someone's podcast talking about the other wives' husbands. Even after everything that happened with Kelly Dodd, he didn't do that. and Vicky calling him gay and all this stuff. He never really retaliated. He never went to that point of John Fuda. He never went to this point of the way that Ryan is now acting. And so this whole situation that goes on at this dinner party is very confusing for everybody because they're not really sure what happened. No one's really listened to the podcast, so they don't know what Ryan said and what Ryan did that was so, offensive. But there's a couple things that he did. One were the Eddie accusations. The other thing is that apparently like 20 years ago, Tamara's son, Ryan, was revenge porned by his girlfriend. He sent her a dick pic and she sent it to the tabloids. This is a problem. Man, woman, like Ryan or hate Ryan, you can't condone that. You cannot sit on your fucking Scandival high horse and talk about revenge porn or anything. Like, you can't without, you can't even be mad at Diddy. I mean, this is like all on the spectrum of this. You can't be mad at Ryan for that. Like, we've all sent nudes. If one of my exes decided to go to a fucking tabloid with it, that would ruin my life. So the fact that then Jen's Ryan was reposting articles and things that had went back 20 years ago to Tamara's son's Ryan's revenge porn, that's fucked up. So that would be enough for a mother to retaliate against somebody if you're coming for their kids. Now, I know Ryan is a piece of shit. I can't believe I'm defending him. And it's confusing because we're talking about two different Ryans here. Keep up here. But it's not okay. That whole situation is not okay. And I was like really disgusted to hear that Ryan Boynahan was doing that to Ryan, Tamara's son. I don't know his last name. So anyways, that prompts Tamara to bring up this FBI investigation that rumors have been swirling about what's going on. And I found that to be very interesting too, because what is actually like, we're able to see full circle now. We got Andy and a camera. Like, we're always right. Like, cameras had actually went down. I'm not sure when the season finale will be or how many episodes we have of the season to count on, but something is going on where they're going to, I guess, have to get into the real truth about what happens here, because if it's going to be on TV and cameras and stuff. But basically, okay, so what I understand that has happened, and I've read other things on here too. I've talked about this a few times on the show before. But what I understand has happened is that Ryan had taken a plea deal to receive immunity from the government, which means that if you cooperate, you cannot be tried. You sign on the dotted line and you basically that's what goes on. It's like a contract. And so you can spill the tea, give everybody up, and hopefully for you sacrificing yourself, they will get 10, 20, 30, who knows how many can be in an enterprise, more men, and take down way more of a racketeering thing, or a group thing, which I think would then be, no, I don't know. I'm not going to get into the legal terms. But it seems like, there was a lot to do with that. So then Tamara decides to bring up, well, what about the FBI? What about that? And everybody at the table is like, what? And everybody's like, what? I mean, we've come to find out that actually everybody did know off camera. And so they're really doing good acting. They're pretending like nobody had been hearing these rumors. But they all knew something was coming down the pipeline for Ryan. It seems like what had happened was Ryan received immunity for being a rat, and this is not to sound like a mobster, but you don't rat. So he decided to snitch on everybody else to save himself. And because of that, that's the only reason why he never had to go to trial. And this entire thing with Ohtani, who is the Dodgers pitcher that was stolen from, just to go over this very briefly. What was happening was that the interpreter the Japanese interpreter had been stealing money. He was the one that was stealing money, the pitcher. And he was stealing money to gamble. So then he would gamble, and he would use Ryan as his bookie. So he would be placing these huge bets illegally with Ryan. So he would steal money from the Dodger. Follow me here. He takes the money from the Dodger player. He gives it to Ryan to pay off his gambling debts because he was in debt with Ryan. Ryan would then take that money and go to Vegas, who we have seen him going with Jen several trips. We see them at Wet Republic. We see a lot going on, but he takes the money, he goes to Vegas, And then what they do is they gamble with it there. It washes it. It's money laundering. And hopefully, too, they win and they actually make money off of the money that they stole to pay back the debts to gamble with. So it's very hard to follow. I tried to go very slow there, but hopefully you guys kind of understand. Technically, Ryan did not steal the money from the pitcher. The interpreter did. The interpreter gave the money to Ryan because he owed him money for gambling. And then Ryan laundered the money. So really, the police were like, the FBI, whatever, the government, big government was like, all right, Ryan, we're going to just like let you go for laundering the money if you can tell us all the other details. So he was not found guilty of anything. He was let go. You know, the status of his current, where I don't even care if he's still doing it. He's irrelevant. But that is what's going on. So just so you guys kind of understand what happened. Now, Tamara goes and Watch What Happens Live. She's like, oh, Ryan stole money. She said, Venus CBD makes more money than Ryan stole from the pitcher. That's what her quote was. She then got served papers the next day for defamation. So the reason why that happened is because he didn't steal money technically. She can't say that. It is giving what happened with Jim Bellino. I mean, this is not good, Tamara. Tamara, you did fuck up there. You did fuck up there. I have to say, was it funny? Sure. Was it for entertainment? Yes. But she's losing a lot of money in lawsuits over there. So some of the Venus CBD money is now going to have to go to pay Ryan, which is frustrating. So all of these housewives are just suing each other and paying for each other's lifestyles over there. It is getting messy boot. Okay, so that was my number 2 most talked about moment of the week, is this huge lawsuit and issue and Tamara getting served with papers and going to Watch What Happens Live and what happened with Ryan and the FBI and all of that. We're going to see more to come. Things are going to happen where they pick cameras back up and we're going to learn more about this situation. But at the end of the day, Ryan has no victims and did not, it's fine. He's not a serial killer. Okay. So then that brings us into our number 1 most talked about moment of the week. This is some breaking news that happened yesterday. I was in the airport coming back to New York, opened up my phone, and I see nothing more than Sam Bravo Historian's post, basically with this text message that she got. I would love to know who sent her this. That said, Sam, the text says, Sam, you'll never believe what happened. Joel Kim Booster is on his stories right now and he is roasting, cooking, and serving up Shannon for breakfast. So everybody ran to their stories and before it was taken down and screenshotted it. And apparently, allegedly, Love Hotel was filming the last 3 weeks and we saw Luann posting her pictures down there. We saw Cynthia was down there. Ashley Darby was posting from her hotel room in Mexico. Like they weren't able to start posting, I think like right away when they were there, but it looks like after they had been down there for a little while and production had confirmed that that's what they were doing, they started to allow them to post and kind of like drum up some excitement for the show. It is good. Like they want the Bravo fan accounts reposting these things and like, oh, Cynthia's there. Like everyone getting excited and stuff. So there's going to be more to see. I mean, Shannon's children apparently were there too. It's going to be an interesting season. Again, it's Giselle, Ashley Darby. Okay. Again, do you guys remember the glory days of the Michael Darby Potomac days? Like, I will be chasing that high forever. Those were the days. I don't think that her and Michael are divorced. So I don't like her being on the show necessarily. I just don't get it. And then we have Luann, who was the obvious choice for the show. Been begging for a dating show for Luann for a long time. And then we have Shannon. And a lot of people were like, okay, like what? Like, no offense. Actually, or, some offense. But it's like, why? Like, Shannon her dating, I mean, I think it's because we wanted to see Shannon find love. Okay, so there we found the why. We all want to see Shannon find love and be happy again. But she was way too fresh out of this stuff with John. Like, this is still going on. This is airing right now. Like, she's not ready to date. She's not ready to move on. She is not in the mindset to be out there. And when Joel Kim Booster went on his Instagram stories and basically exposed Shannon for being the devil on set and for being a menace to society. I mean, we don't know the exact truth yet, but I'm getting some undertones of her treating a person of color on set not well. I don't know. I don't want to accuse her of that. We will see. I don't hate Shannon. A lot of people are like, oh my God, whatever. I don't like Alexis either. That's for damn sure. So let's keep it to the facts here that I'm a Tamra supporter. So that is like where my loyalty lies. But Shannon is just, she's wackadoo, and she's not mentally healthy enough to be in this type of situation filming and kind of doing this. So I don't think her being on set was the best plan right now for her, but it's unclear exactly what happened yet. We're all going to have to stay tuned. But something happened on set where she was mistreating people. Joel exposed her, posted to his stories, wanted everybody to know. And a lot of people are not happy about this. Now, I posted to my story, I was Joker laughing in the streets, trying to tell everybody for the last month that Shannon is not a good person. She's not giving me good person vibes. She's not giving me empathetic, loving, caring sisterhood vibes. She's just not. She gives me cold-hearted, selfish, self-centered victim vibe. Low vibrational. She's a low vibrational person. So that is my beef with her. But the fact that she would go on set, mistreat people, mistreat cast, production, and that everyone's like, oh, Joel Kim Booster, you're going to lose your job. NBC's never going to ask you back. Like, you fucked up your bag. Good. The fact that people get silenced in the industry because they're scared of not having future jobs, opportunities. Again, hello, do you not see what's going on with Diddy? Like, expose, lose a job, take a hit, be your voice. Like, you shouldn't want to have jobs that are like that anyway. Like, who wants to have a job where you're getting abused on set? So that is the number one most talked about moment of the week so far. I mean, it is only Monday. Again, I usually record at the end of the week, but I wanted to get on the mic with you guys. I just went on for an hour and 45 minutes with you. So I had a lot to say, obviously, but it's just been a lot going on, and we've had a lot of drama, and I just want to come back to this place. We come to this place like Nicole Kidman. We come to this place, right? Like, we're here for entertainment. We're here for fun. We're here for good feelings. We just are. And we have a lot of things to say about this stuff, but we got to keep it positive out there. And until we know more facts, I won't comment more. It's all, one-sided right now. We haven't gotten a response from Shannon yet. But one of Joel's posts also said that her daughters are just as bad. And Sophie, I don't get good advice from Sophie. Oh God, I know. I'm sorry. I was like, oh, the children, they are all over 18. They're all adults. Sophie gives me MAGA vibes. I'm just going to say that. And then Adeline and, oh, come on. I can't forget the girl's name. Stella and Adeline now. They're both giving me like LA elitist influencer vibes of like, okay, they're in NYC. They're in Paris. They're like the Olsen twins. Oh my God. I kind of love them actually now. Just comparing them to the Olsen twins. Oh my gosh, I'm losing it. I've been recording too long. Okay, I really need to let you guys go. I didn't even get to talk about the Real Houses of Salt Lake City this week. I have a lot of controversial thoughts about Mary. I'm loving the new housewife, Brittany. I really, really am. I talked a little bit how I saw the premiere episode. I had gone to that watch party. I met all of the ladies when they were wasted. It was so great. One quick thing I have to say is that I do not condone Lisa Barlow saying that she likes fur. That's fucked up, Lisa. Like, it's 2024. Don't love that. I don't love that. I really hated that she said that. I've refused to pick Angie or Lisa. This is a perfect example of like where sometimes I refuse to pick a side in a fight. So they're both equally mother to me. They are both my stepmothers. So I'm going to just have to stay tuned on that. But I'm really liking Delulu Brittany so far in this fight with Mary. I wish it's just giving me real good Housewives vibes for the season. And I'm trying to think if there was really like a most talked about moment. It's probably just, that fight with Mary. I mean, Mary has a lot of problems. Mary is really triggered by Brittany because we're getting into a lot of Mary's personal story with her mother and her grandmother this season. Again, producers like Jersey Shore sat down with Salt Lake City and probably told Mary, like, if you're going to be on this show this season, you got to show your life because we cannot hear it from the fan base. You've got to give it. And so they're forcing her to talk about stuff this season, and we're getting into more details. And she talks about how her mom would often choose the men in her life over her. And that's a deep cut for her. She's getting vibes like that from Brittany. I have people in my family that act like that. I don't like it either. It's a big reason why I actually don't have kids. It's something in me I have to go to therapy for. So there's something about that, like seeing how the women in my family, again, sorry if any of you guys are listening, but it's the truth. Like sometimes how men get chose over the kids, like it's triggering for me. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it on that. But go watch Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I am actually going to be going to the Bravo Fan Fest in Miami, November 23rd through 20th, dressed up as Bronwyn, and I'm putting together like a homemade version of her cheetah leopard yellow episode outfit from episode 1. I think that's gonna be really fun and hopefully cute and help me stand out down there. But I don't know anybody else who's going, so let me know if you're gonna be in Miami for Bravo Fan Fest. And with that, I will leave you guys. I'm just looking back on my notes. Another sidebar I've talked about before. I do not watch Sister Wives. You will not hear me talk about that. There is a new season of Married at First Sight that is premiering. There's actually the matchmaking special that's happening next Wednesday, October something. Married at First Sight. I will be talking about it and covering it on this show. It's on Lifetime. If you guys ever need a login for something too, if someone out there is like, damn, I can't watch that, like, let me know. I think I can let a few people on my Lifetime app or something. We'll see. Okay, what else do I have for you guys? Okay, I think that's it. I will leave that with you all. Thank you all for being here so much. Again, rate, review, subscribe, follow, do all the things. Follow me on TikTok at Bella Talks TV, on Instagram at Bella Talks TV, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Please, if you're watching on the YouTube, again, comment, follow, join the channel. Help a sister out here because I don't want to stop doing this. I want to do this forever. So, okay, guys, love you so much. Have a fabulous week. Ciao.